Today we'll discuss IPMET 2019 paper. Now IPMET is an exam conducted by IIM Indore for 12th appearing students for admission into a dual degree 5 years integrated course, at the end of which a student is awarded a degree of BBA and MBA from IIM Indore. It's a very sought after course, especially for the students who are interested in business administration and management. Now this question paper has a mix of problems. Some problems are elementary, such as ratio proportion problems, profit and loss problems, simple inequalities. And then there are some questions which are definitely at par with JEE Mains level. And then there are some questions which are at par with ISI or CMI's paper. In this video, we'll be discussing quantitative section of that paper, which consists of 60 questions. And the first question is, sum of the interior angles of a convex n-sided polygon is less than 2019. The maximum possible value of n is. Now we know that sum of internal angles is n minus 2 pi, which is n minus 2 into 180. And this value should be less than 2019. So from here we'll write n minus 2 is less than 11.22 and then n is less than 13.22. Now what's the maximum possible value of n? So maximum possible integral value of n is simply 13. So answer to question number 1 is the value of n is 13. Now question number 2 again is very simple logarithmic question, and it says we need to simplify the value of 1 upon 1 plus log c upon a to the base a square b plus 1 upon 1 plus log a upon b to the base b square c plus 1 upon 1 plus log b by c to the base c square a. Now we know that log a base a is 1. So what we'll do is we'll write this 1 as log a square b to the base a square b, and this is plus log a square b c upon a. Now we'll simplify this. We can write this as 1 upon and will be log base is a square b. Now here we will multiply them, a will cancel, so we'll get this as abc. So we can actually write this as log a square b to the base abc. Now similarly for the second one, we can write this as log b square c to the base abc, and in the same way we can write this third one as log to the base abc, and here the number is c square a. Now log m plus n is log m into n, so we'll multiply, we'll get log, and this is abc. Now here we have a square and a cube, b cube and c cube, so it will be simply abc cube. So we can take this power out, so then it will be 3 and log abc to the base abc, and log a base a is simply 1. So answer to this question is simply 3. So the value of this expression is 3. Now question number 3 is very interesting question, and in this question we are given a functional equation which is represented by this relation, which is fx into fy, and it is equal to f 2xy plus 3 plus 3fx plus y minus 3fy plus 6y for all real numbers x and y. Then we need to find the value of f8. Now what we'll do is, in this expression we'll put x as 0. So we'll put x as 0, we'll get f0 into fy, and this is f3 plus 3fy minus 3fy plus 6y. Now here we can cancel 3fy with 3fy. So from here we can write f0 into fy, and this is equal to f3 plus 6y. Now what we'll also do is, in this expression, now we'll put y as 0. So if we'll put y as 0, we'll get f0 square, and it'll be equal to f3. Now we'll let value of f0 as sum k. So we can write this as kfy, and it'll be equal to k square plus 6y. So this function fy, it will simply be 6y plus k square upon k. Now in order to find the value of f8, we need to find the value of k. Now in this functional relation, if we'll put y as 0, then we can write fx into f0 will be f3 plus 3fx minus 3 times f0 plus 6 into 0. Now we have taken f0 as k and f3 as k square. So we can write this fx together. So we can write fx, and this is k minus 3, and L be equal to k square minus 3k. So from here we'll get either the value of k is 3 or value of fx is simply k. Now we'll take fx as k. In that case, this function will be a constant function. Now constant function actually doesn't satisfy this condition. So we'll eliminate this condition. So that means from this we can write value of k must be 3. So if value of k is 3, we can simply write fy as 6y plus 9 upon 3. So it will simply be 2y plus 3. Now we need to find the value of f8. Now f8 is 16 plus 3, and that is 19. So value of f8 is simply 19, and that is the answer to this question. Now question number 4 is yet again very simple question. It says ABC are 3 4x4 matrices such that determinant of A is 5, determinant of B is minus 3, determinant of C is 1 by 2. Then we need to find determinant of 2A, B inverse, C cube and B transpose. Now we know that determinant of k into A is k to the power n into determinant of A, where order of A is n cross n. So we can take this 2 out. Then we can write this as 2 to the power 4 determinant of A, determinant of B inverse, determinant of C cube and determinant of B transpose. Now this is 16 and it will be determinant of A. Now determinant of B inverse is same as inverse of determinant. So it will be 1 upon determinant of B. Now determinant of A to the power n is same as determinant of A to the power n. So we can write this as determinant of C cube, and determinant of B transpose is same as determinant of B. So determinant of B will cancel. So we can write this as 16. Now determinant of A, it is 5, and determinant of C is 1 by 2. So it will be 1 by 8. Value of this determinant is simply 10. So answer to this question is 10. Now question number 5 is again a matrix question, and it says A is a non-zero matrix such that A square is a null matrix. So if A square is a null matrix, then A square, A cube, all the higher powers of A, they'll be null matrix. Now we need to find determinant of I plus A to the power 50 minus 50A. Now what we'll do is we'll use binomial theorem. So we can write this as 50C0 I to the power 50 A to the power 0 plus 50C1 I to the power 49 into A and plus 50C2 I to the power 48 A square, and then all higher powers of A till 50C50 A to the power 50, and then minus 50A. So it will be minus 50A. Now in the question it is given that A square and all the higher powers of A, it is a null matrix. So all these expressions, they'll be simply 0. So we can write this as 50C0, which is 1, and 1 into I to the power 50. I to the power n is simply I. So it will simply be I, and then plus. Now 50C1 is 50. I to the power 49 is simply I, and I into A is simply A. So it will be I into A, and then minus 50A. So it will cancel. So this matrix, which is I plus A to the power 50 minus 50A, is an identity matrix. So we'll take determinant of this matrix. So determinant of identity matrix is simply 1. So answer to this question is 1. Now question number 6, it says 3 friends divided some apples in the ratio 3:5:7. So we can say the number of apples they got is, say, 3x, 5x and 7x. Now it says after consuming 16 apples, they found that the remaining number of apples with them was equal to largest number of apples received by one of them at the beginning. The total number of apples these friends initially had was. So total number of apples will be simply 15x, and then after consuming 16, so it will be 15x minus 16, and it will be equal to the largest number of apples received by one of them at the beginning. So largest number is simply 7x. Now 15 minus 7 is simply 8. So 8x is 16. So value of x is simply 2. So that means total number of apples in the beginning, it was simply 15x, and that is 30. So answer to this question is simply 30. Now question number 7, it says, a shopkeeper reduces the price of pen by 25%, as a result of which sale quantity increased by 20%. If the revenue made by shopkeeper decreases by x%, then we'll need to find this value of x. So what we'll do is, we'll say, suppose initial price is 100 and quantity is also 100. So initial revenue will be simply 100 into 100, and that is 10,000. Now it says shopkeeper reduces the price by 25%. So now this new price, it is 75, and this new quantity, which is increased by 20%, will be simply 120. So new revenue will be 75 into 120, which is 9,000. So decrease in revenue, it is simply 1,000 rupees, and 1,000 is 10% of initial amount. So the value of x is simply 10. Now question number 8, it's a standard JEE question, and it says, for all real values of x, this expression which is 3x square minus 6x plus 12 upon x square plus 2x plus 4, it lies between 1 and k, and it does not take any value above k, then we'll need to find value of k. So what is the standard method of solving these questions? So we'll take it equal to some y, we'll cross multiply and make it a quadratic in x. So we can write y minus 3x square plus 2 into y plus 3x plus 4 y minus 3 equals to 0. Now for this question, x is real. Now if x is real, this equation should have real roots. So that means value of d should be greater than or equal to 0. So we'll write d, then it will be 4, and then y plus 3 whole square minus 4, y minus 3 whole square into 4 square, and it should be greater than or equal to 0. So we can cancel this 4. So we can write y plus 3 whole square minus 4, y minus 3 whole square, and it is greater than or equal to 0. So we'll simplify, we'll write y square plus 9 plus 6y minus 4y square minus 36 plus 24y, and it is greater than or equal to 0. So we can write this as 3y square minus 30y plus 27, and it is less than or equal to 0. So we'll get y square minus 10y plus 9 is less than or equal to 0. So we'll get this as y minus 1, y minus 9 is less than or equal to 0. Solve this inequality, we'll get 1 and 9. So it'll be plus, minus and plus. We'll need less than or equal to 0. So value of y will lie between 1 and 9. So y belongs to 1 and 9. So the maximum value that this y can take is simply 9. So the value of k in this case is 9, and that's your answer to this question. Now question number 9, it says, the maximum distance between the point minus 5, 0 and a point on this circle which is x square plus y square equals to 4 is. Now we know that center of this circle is at origin. And this point here is minus 5, 0. Now radius of this circle is 2 units. So this point is 2, 0 and this point is minus 2, 0. So the point which is at a maximum distance from this given point is 2, 0. So maximum distance between these 2 points is simply 7, and that is the answer to this question. Now in question number 10, it says, if x, y, z are positive real numbers such that x to the power 12 equals y to the power 16 equals z to the power 24, then if these three quantities are in AP, we'll need to find value of n. Now it is given that x to the power 12 equals y to the power 16 equals z to the power 24, and this is equal to sum k. Now we'll take log, say to the base e, we can write log x into 12 is equal to 16 into log y, and this is 24 into log z and this is some log k, and this log k is some other constant, say c. So from here we can write log x is c by 12, log y is c by 16, and log z is c by 24. Now we can write log x base y. So we know that log x base y, we can write it as log x upon log y using base changing property. So log x upon log y will simply be 16 by 12. In the same way, log y base z, so it will be log y upon log z, which is c by 16 upon c by 24, so it will be 24 upon 16, and log z base x will be log z upon log x, which will be 12 by 24. Now the question says these three numbers, they are in AP. So that means we can write 8 log y base z is equal to 3 log x base y plus n log z base x. So it will be 8. Now log z base y, it is 24 by 16. X base y is 16 by 12. And then plus n and log z base x. So it is 12 by 24. So it will be 2 and 12, 4, and it will be 4, and then it is 2. So from here we can write n by 2, and it is 12 minus 4, which is 8. So value of n is simply 16. So answer to this question is 16. Now question number 11, it says the number of pairs satisfying the equation sin x plus sin y equals sin x plus y and mod x plus mod y equals to 1 is. Now we know that this mod x plus mod y equals to 1, it is nothing but a square. So this equation, it represents portion of 4 straight lines, and whose equations are x plus y equals 1, x plus y equals minus 1, x minus y equals 1, and minus x plus y equals 1. Now we'll need to find number of simultaneous solutions of these two equations. So we'll simplify this one. So from here we can write 2 sin c plus sin d. So it'll be 2 sin c plus d by 2. So it'll be 2 sin x plus y by 2 into cos x minus y by 2. And from here we can write 2 sin a by 2 into cos a by 2. So it'll be sin x plus y by 2 into cos x plus y by 2. Now from here we can say this 2 and 2 will cancel, and one of the root of this equation will be sin x plus y by 2 equals to 0, or cos x minus y by 2 is equal to cos x plus y by 2. Now we know that sin theta is 0, then theta is n pi. So from here we can write x plus y equals 2n pi. Now we'll put n as 0. We'll write this equation as x plus y equals to 0, which is a straight line passing through origin at an angle of 135 degrees. So in that case, we'll have two solutions. So we'll put x as minus y. So from here we'll get 2 times mod of x is equal to 1. So value of x is plus or minus 1 by 2. And then value of y is minus plus 1 by 2. So the two solutions are 1 by 2 and minus 1 by 2, and minus 1 by 2 and plus 1 by 2. Now in the second case, when cos x minus y by 2 is equal to cos x plus y by 2, in that case we can write this as cos a cos b plus sin a sin b, and will be cos a cos b minus sin a sin b. So here cos a cos b will cancel. So from here we can write sin x by 2 into sin y by 2 is 0. So from here either the value of x is 0 or the value of y is 0. Now even though general solution is x equals 2n pi or y equals 2m pi, we have only considered values when x is 0 and y is 0, because in case of pi or 2 pi, there will be no point of intersection between the two graphs. And the same way here also, we have just considered n equals to 0. For n equals 1 or minus 1, it will be a line which is parallel to sides of this square, but it won't intersect this square. So we'll put x as 0, we'll get mod y as 1, then we'll get y as plus or minus 1. And if we'll put y as 0, we'll get mod x as 1, then x will be plus or minus 1. So the total number of solutions in this case will be plus minus 1 by 2, minus plus 1 by 2, 0 comma plus minus 1, and plus minus 1 comma 0. So altogether there will be 6 solutions to this equation. So number of pairs of x, y will be 6. Now question number 12, it says, if the circle does not touch or intersect the coordinate axis, and if the point 1 comma 4 does not lie outside the circle, then range of k is not included a2, included b. We need to find the value of a plus b. Now for this circle, we know that value of g is minus 3, value of f is minus 5, and value of c is k. Now since this circle, it does not touch or intersect the coordinate axis, so it means the intercept on x-axis and y-axis, they should be imaginary. So we know that intercept on x-axis is twice under root g square minus c, and intercept on y-axis is twice under root f square minus c. Now if these intercepts, they are imaginary, then g square minus c must be less than 0, and f square minus c must also be less than 0. So from here we can write value of k should be greater than g square, which is 9, and from here we'll write c, which is k is greater than, and f square, which is 25. So value of k is greater than 9 and the value of k is greater than 25. Now it also says this point, it does not lie outside this circle. So if the point does not lie outside this circle, then it will lie either on the circle or inside. In that case, value of s1 is simply less than or equal to 0. So we'll put x as 1 and y as 4. We can write 1 plus 16 minus 6 minus 40 plus k, and it is less than equal to 0. So from here we can write value of k is less than or equal to, so it will be 10, 11, 29. So from these three conditions, we'll get value of k must lie between 25 and 29. So value of a is 25 and value of b is 29. So value of a plus b, it will be 54. So answer to this question is 54. Now question number 13, it says, if a 3 cross 3 matrix is filled with ones and minus ones such that the sum of each row and columns of the matrix is 1, then the absolute value of this determinant is. Now we know that sum of each row and each column, it can only be plus or minus 1 when two of the elements are plus 1 and one element is minus 1. So we can take any general matrix 3 cross 3. Now we have to arrange these three elements in first row. So these three elements in first row can be arranged in factorial 3 divided by factorial 2, that is 3 ways. So one of the ways 1, 1 and minus 1. Now since minus 1 is already there in this column, it cannot have any more minus 1. So it can be 1 and 1. Now for the second one, again we have two choices, either minus 1 here or minus 1 here. So one of the choice could be this is 1 minus 1, and third one could be minus 1 and 1. Now we'll find value of this determinant, which is determinant of A. So we do it by taking R3 as R3 plus R2. So we'll write 0, 0 and 2, and here it will be 1 minus 1, 1 and 1, 1 and minus 1. So this value will be minus 4. So absolute value of this determinant will be simply, now there will be many such matrices, but for all these matrices, value of this determinant will be either plus 4 or minus 4, and which is the answer to this question. Now question number 14, it says, let the set P equals 2, 3, 4 up to 25. For each k in this P, define a set Q as a function of k, which consists of all the elements x in this set P such that x is greater than k and k divides x. So that means it will have all the elements which are divided by some number which is less than the given number. So that means this qk, it will have all the set of composite numbers. So say for example, if we'll suppose take k as 2. So that means in this q2, we'll have all the elements x belongs to P such that x is greater than 2 and then 2 divides x. So that means it will have all the even number elements 4, 6, 8 up to 24. So that means in this set we'll have all the numbers which are divided by some previous number. Then the number of elements in this set, which is P minus this set Q over all the values of K from 2 to 25. So from the set P, we'll need to leave all those elements which are composite numbers. Then we are left with prime numbers. So this P minus union QK is nothing but it's a set of prime numbers in set P. So in set P, what are the prime numbers? So prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23. So it'll be 9 such numbers. So number of elements in this set is simply 9. Now 15th question is number of whole metallic tiles that can be produced by melting and recasting a circular metallic plate if each of the tile has a shape of right angle isosceles triangle. So we have right angle isosceles triangles. And the circular plate has a radius equal to length of the longest side of the tile. So that means length of the hypotenuse is R. So this value is R by root 2n, R by root 2. Assuming that there is no loss in the melting and recasting process and they are of uniform thickness, we need to find number of whole metallic tiles. So volume of metallic tiles must be less than or equal to volume of this given plate. So let us assume that thickness of this plate is T. So what is the volume of this circular plate? Volume of this circular plate will be pi r square T, and it will be greater than or equal to n times volume of this tile, and volume of this tile will be T into 1 by 2 r square by 2. Now T and T will cancel, r square will also cancel, so we will get value of n must be less than or equal to 4 pi. Now 4 pi is nearly 12.56. So the maximum value of n is simply 12. So answer to this question is 12. Now question number 16 is very interesting question again, and it says if mod x is less than 100 and mod y is less than 100, then number of integral solutions of x, y satisfying the equation 4x plus 7y equals to 3 is. Now we are given that the value of x, it lies between minus 100 to plus 100, and the same way value of y will also lie between minus 100 and plus 100. Now we need to find number of integral solutions of this equation. Now what we'll do is we can write this x as 3 minus 7y by 4. Now since x is an integer, so that means this value, it must be an integer. Now this value will be integer only when this numerator is an even number, and this numerator will be an even number when 3 minus 7y is even, and 3 minus 7y is even when this y is odd. So that means this y, it has to be an odd integer. So say for example, suppose y is say 2k plus 1. Now we'll take y as 2k plus 1. We can write this x as 3 minus 7, and this is 2k plus 1 upon 4. So it will be 3 minus 7, which is minus 4. Minus 4 upon 4 is minus 1, and then minus 7k by 2. So this x, it will be an integer when this k is an even number. If k is an even number, which is say some 2m, so that means this y has to be of the form some 4m plus 1. So this equation will have integral solution when y is of the form 4m plus 1. Now it is also given that this x lies between minus 100 to plus 100. So we'll take this condition on x, then we can simply write minus 100 is less than 3 minus 7y by 4, and it is less than 100. So we'll get minus 400 minus 3. Minus 403 is less than minus 7y, and it is 400 minus 3. So it will be 397. So from here we can get value of y should be greater than minus 397 by 7, and it should be less than 403 divided by 7. Now 397 divided by 7 is 56.71. So this y, it should be greater than minus 56.71, and it should be less than 57.57. Now we'll need to find number of values of y which are of the form 4n plus 1 in this interval. Now y can only take integral values, so we can write this as y should lie between minus 56 to plus 57. Now we have to select all the values which are of the form 4m plus 1 in this interval. So in this interval, number of values will be, so from 1 to 57, there will be 14 numbers. And then from minus 56 to minus 1, there will be 14 such values. And then one value will be when the value of y is 0. So number of values will be 14 plus 1, that is 29. So answer to this question is 29. Now question number 17, it says the average of 5 distinct integers is 110 and the smallest number is 100. Find the maximum possible value of largest integer. So we know that the smallest number is 100. Now for the maximum possible value of largest integer, all these remaining 3 numbers, they should be the smallest numbers. And these numbers are distinct integers. So that means we can choose these numbers as 101, 102 and 103. So now the remaining number is say x. Now its average is 110. So we'll add them, we'll write 100 plus 101 plus 102 plus 103 plus x upon 5. And this value is equal to 110. Now it will be 406 plus x and it is equal to 550. So value of x is simply 144. So maximum possible value of largest integer is 144. Now question number 18 is one very interesting problem, and it says assume all positive integers are written down consecutively from left to right as 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then 6389th digit in the sequence is. So we have to find a particular digit in this sequence. Now we know that initially it will have all the numbers with single digits. Now single digit number starts from 1 and ends at 9. So there will be 9 such numbers followed by 2 digit numbers starting from 10 all the way up to 99, and it'll be 90 such numbers. Then we'll have 3 digit numbers starting from 100 all the way up to 999. There'll be 900 such numbers and then followed by 4 digit numbers. Now for these single digit numbers, each number occupy only 1 digit. So number of digits occupied by these single digit numbers is simply 9 into 1. Now number of digits occupied by these 2 digit numbers will be simply 2 into, now total number of such numbers is 90, and number of digits occupied by 3 digit number is 900 into 3. So it comes to 9, 180, 2700. So it will be 2889. So starting from 1, 2, 3 up to 999, there will be 2889 numbers. Now in the question it says we need to find 6389th digit. So we need to find digit in 6389th place. Now these remaining numbers, they will be 6389 minus 2889, which comes to 3500. So there will be 3500 digits in this sequence. Now in this sequence, each number has 4 digits. So we'll find number of numbers in this sequence. So we'll divide 3500 with 4. We get 875. So from 999, we have added 875 more numbers starting from 1000 and then 1001. So we'll look at 875th number. So that number will be 1874. So the last number in the sequence will be 1874, and the last digit in the sequence, it will simply be 4. So 638th digit in the sequence is simply 4, and that is the answer to this question. Now question number 19, it says number of pair of integers whose sum are equal to their product. So that means we'll need to find two numbers such that x plus y is equal to xy. Now this is very standard equation. We solve this equation by taking xy on the left hand side. We can write x minus xy and plus y. Now what we'll also do is we'll subtract minus 1 from both sides. Now here we'll take x common. We'll write x 1 minus y plus y minus 1 equals minus 1. So here we'll take y minus 1 common. We'll write y minus 1, 1 minus x is equal to minus 1. Then we can write y minus 1 into x minus 1 and this is equal to 1. So we get this form as y minus 1 into x minus 1 is equal to 1. Now since x and y, they're both integers, so that means these two factors, they should be integer, and product of two integers is 1 only when either both of them they are 1 or when both of them are minus 1. So first case, when y minus 1 is 1 and x minus 1 is 1, that is when the value of x is 2 and the value of y is 2. And the second case, when y minus 1 is minus 1 and x minus 1 is also minus 1, that is when the value of x is 0 and the value of y is also 0. So number of pairs of such integers is simply 2, which is 0, 0 and 2, 2. Now question number 20, it says you have been asked to select a positive integer n which is less than 1000 such that it is either a multiple of 4 or a multiple of 6 or a multiple of c. So we'll say this event as a and this as b and this as c. So we'll find number of elements in this set A, so which are multiple of 4. So numbers which are multiple of 4 is 1000 divided by 4 and there'll be 250 excluding this 1000 because 1000 is not included. So we'll have 249 such numbers. Then number of elements in this set B which are multiple of 6, it'll be 166. And then number of elements in this set C which is an odd multiple of 9. Total multiples of 9 will be 1000 divided by 9 will be 111 and it'll start from 9 then 18 up to 999. So it will have 56 odd multiples of 9. Now we need to find n A union B union C. So n A union B union C will be NA plus NB plus NC minus n A intersection B, and there cannot be any intersection of A and C or B and C because any multiple of 4 cannot be odd multiple of 9 and any multiple of 6 cannot be odd multiple of 9. So we need to find n A intersection B also. So if we'll find n A intersection B, it will have all the elements which are divisible by both 4 and 6. So that is which are divisible by 12. So there'll be 1000 divided by 12 and that is 83 such numbers. So number of such integers will be 249 plus 166 plus 56 minus 83. And that comes to 388 such numbers. So answer to this question is 388.